Hey, so basically, I'm just picking up where I got cut off about my bad coworker experience. So, anyways, what I was saying in the last video, I guess I didn't catch it, but the only time that this coworker was ever nice to me was when she was drunk off her ass at some of our get-togethers and our meetings. If we would do meetings at night, we'd like have dinner, and then we'd like all like smoke and stuff because we work at a dispensary and we're off the premises of the building, so we can, consume uh, together. So, anyways, the only time she was ever nice was when she was shit faced. And so I don't really like talking about it, but I wanted to just end the story in a roundabout way. And, I was always a receptionist for the most part at this dispensary, but I also was cross trained to be a bud tender. And so towards the end of me working there, I was more in the front than in the back. So I was more the front of the house, and I just got used to that routine. So something happened where there was a trend where people were coming in and they weren't able to check in their loyalty points, and they weren't able to do this for about like a month straight. But they never gave an ETA to the customers when the customers would come in, kind of as like a ploy for them to keep coming in because they were like, well, we don't really have an ETA. Anyways, I just stated the obvious at the meeting, one of the morning meetings. And yes, we are all grumpy in the morning, and she's not a morning person. She usually half asleep. But by the end of it, for whatever reason, she like hated me. So this morning, I guess I had gotten my sleep. I had eaten my Wheaties because I was actually being enthusiastic and part of the meeting. Usually I'm just sitting there half asleep like she is. But anyways, I said something like, yeah, we really need to fix Baker points. That's what the system's called. I just plugged Baker, so whatever, the company. But yeah, so it's just a loyalty format. And so I was like, yeah, we have to get that back because a lot of people are like, they don't want to keep coming in if they're not going to get their loyalty points. And she lost her fucking mind in front of our entire group of oldies, and we had just hired some new people, so it would have been one thing. Well, first off, it's completely unprofessional to lose your mind and blurt out and scream at anyone the way she did in front of old coworkers, not in public. Okay, so at least it wasn't in public, in the sense of with customers. But the fact that she was talking like that to me, and I'm a coworker in front of other coworkers, it puts everyone in a really awkward situation, in my opinion, and it was completely unprofessional. But she literally had Tourette's, and literally, in my opinion, no, just verbal, she just was insane. You know what I mean? She knew she could bully me, and she can't bully anyone else, in my opinion. So she bullies me. It's a control issue. I totally get it. I don't wish her ill will, but she has some serious problems she needs to figure out. So she blows up on me, and she's like, "Yeah, I think we all know that. Blah blah blah." And she just was she went for me. You know what I mean? She didn't even need to say anything. She didn't even have to address it. She's not the main person running the meetings usually. Like I said, she's half asleep. But whatever, it bothered her so much that what was happening that me stating the obvious, and yeah, I was stating the obvious. It was Captain Obvious. But who gives a fuck? All you have to say actually is, hey, Captain Obvious, we all know that. But the moral of the story is I didn't work in the back all the time, so I had no idea how much she was hearing this, So the fact that I was the icing on the shit cake to just reiterate what she's heard from everyone else, she fucking lost it. And that's when I knew, well, first off, we had been in squabbles like that, but not in front of people. That was a whole nother level of disrespect. And that was when I knew that was a mental moment where I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in a place where someone's verbally abusive in front of everyone else. So now it's not even to the point of you're being verbally abusive. Now you're creating an audience. And as someone that grew up, so we have a hot flash or something, and I'm getting heated. And as someone that grew up like that, around things that pop off like that, it's really uncomfortable and scary. So I completely was embarrassed that I even somehow was manipulated or thrown into something, into the worst management ever. Anyway, so how I end up not working there, I should do another story time on that. So I will. I'm not going to give away that. But let's just say that for being loyal the entire time I was there, when no one else really was, besides another person that also, when she exited the place, she willingly exited and said, to me privately, that that place was toxic and it was the worst management and business ran that she's ever worked for. So that made me feel a little better for exiting myself. But she was a good coworker. She was loyal. She was one of my superiors. She's like one of the only superiors I actually got along with and like went to bat for me, quote unquote, more or less. But before getting fired herself because of it. But she left willingly, and I knew the moment she left. That's what I was going with that. The moment she left, it was all over. It was like the tidal wave, and she had just gotten out of the way of the tidal wave, and then I somehow didn't. And I'll tell you about that another story time. I mean, I survived the tidal wave. That's all that matters, right? But that place, there was other coworkers that were very similar to Fuckhead, as I like to call him. I'm not going to call him his name, although I do really want to say it just to blast him. But let's just say I don't block many people, but I blocked him, And I know that sounds really petty, but it's like when you find out things and you hear a bunch of rumors and they all are consistent with someone tarnishing your name and kind of like talking smack and just really being disrespectful, not only to you, but about you behind your back, it gets old. So I think blocking him was smart. I don't have to see him anymore. Like I said, I haven't really thought about him until I made these videos. So anyways, this was part 2. And there you go. Now you know more about the workplace from hell and how I survived it. All right. Bye.